Let's talk about phytohormones. Okay, also known as plant hormones. So, do you know what phyto means? So, phyto means actually plants. Okay, so those hormones that are considered found in plants are phytohormones. Have you heard of like phytes, halophytes, plants which are found in salty conditions are halophytes, bryophytes, phytes plant, right? Also there are heliophytes, phytes plant, phyto, phyto, phytology. What is phytology? Phytology, the study of plants. Phyto. So actually, wherever you see phyto, it means actually plant. Okay. So phyto is related to plant. This is a basic about phyto. Phyto. Okay, word phyto. So let's talk about phytohormones. So there, we categorize these phytohormones into two parts. One is growth inhibitors, or let's discuss growth promoters. Another is growth inhibitors. In growth promoters, we can find auxin. Let me draw a table. Okay, so in auxin, here we can find auxin. Here we can find cytokinin. Here we can find gibberellin. Gibberellin. Okay, so in growth inhibitors we can find two: abscisic acid. I'm denoting it AVA, abscisic acid. Okay, and 5 is ethylene. These are plant hormones or phytohormones. Okay, so these are growth. First three are growth promoters, whereas last two are growth inhibitors. Okay, so let's first discuss about auxin. So we basically have to in this portion the only one questions that have capable in asking competitive examination is function related question are asked in the competitive examinations. Okay, so let's talk about first auxin. So what are auxins? Actually, auxins are indole derivatives or tryptophan precursors. Okay, so there are natural two types of one is natural auxin which are found in naturally in plants, right? Natural, these are, you know, IAA or IBB, wherever you find these words, this means actually auxin. IAA means indole acetic acid. Okay, indole compound. So IAA, indole acetic acid. Now IBA is, you don't need to do IBA. Okay, so just remember IAA, indole acetic acid. And there's another one is synthetic auxin. In synthetic auxin you have to remember 2,4D, which is a weedy site. This is actually a weedy site. You know, weedy sites, weeds killer. Weeds means you know, which the crops which destroy the grasses. These are also grasses. Weeds are also grasses, which is harmful to other plants. Okay, so 2,4 D is actually a weedicide, which is also a synthetic oxygen. Okay, and there's also NAA, naphthalene acetic acid, or something like that. You don't need to remember this. Okay, just remember these two oxygens. So there are only two oxygens: one natural oxygen, which is denoted as IAA, indole acetic acid, and synthetic, that is 2,4D, which is also known as weedicides. Now let's talk about functions of oxygen. Functions. Let's talk about functions. So the functions of oxygen is, so one main function you should remember is main function. If you forget other things, no problem, but this should not be forgotten. And what is this? And one main function is, it is actually rooting hormone. Rooting hormone. It helps to grow roots of a plant. Okay, so that's why it is called rooting hormone. That is apical dominance. Apical dominance. You know apical dominance. In plant there are two apical meristems. See, if I draw this plant, okay, so wait, just a second. If I draw plant here, there are two apical meristems. This is stem and this is apical, two apical meristem. The growth of plant, right? So beneath the soil, so if this is a soil, beneath the soil there is a root meristem, right? Root meristem, and in upper part it is a, which is responsible for the growth of stem, upper part. So there are two meristems in plant which actually divide. One is upper part, one is lower. Lower part is responsible to form root and upper part is responsible to form shoot. So oxygen is actually root promoter, okay, or rooting hormone. So this is about oxygen. So now let's take another one. Another one is abscission. You know abscission. It prevents leaf abscission of young leaves and promote the abscission of old leaves. What does this mean? This means, first you have to remember the term abscission here. So what is abscission? Abscission is actually, पात जो झड़ते हैं ना, उसी को क्या कहते हैं, एब्सिशन कहते हैं. सो जो हमारा ऑक्सीजन है वो यंग लीफ जो नए नए बने होते हैं ना, जो लीव्स, जो उसका एब्सिशन, जो पात झड़ने से रोकता है, यंग लीव्स का पात झड़ने से रोकता है, और जो ओल्ड लीव्स हो, जो पुराने लीव्स होते हैं ना, उनको झाड़ता है, मतलब उनको एब्सिशन के लिए प्रोमोट करता है, यानी लीफ फॉल के लिए ओल्ड लीफ को प्रोमोट करता है. लीफ फॉल एब्सिशन का अनदर फंक्शन. सो नेक्स्ट फंक्शन इज weedicide. This is a weedicide, right? So oxygen, another function is weedicide. So it's already done, weedicide. This is the only function that you have to remember, okay? Other are no need. So just remember these functions. Only three functions of oxygen. One is rooting hormone, which helps in the formation of root, and another one is prevents leaf abscission of young leaf. जो नए लीव्स होते हैं उनको झड़ने से रोकता है, और जो पुराने लीव्स होते हैं उनको क्या करता है, एब्सिशन के लिए प्रमोट करता है. एंड अनदर इज weedicide. Weedicide means weed killer, which kills the weed. Do you know weed, right? Which harms the other plants. These are also plants. Weed are also plants, but these plants harm the other plant growth, okay? So this is about oxygen. Just wait a minute. Now let's talk about cytokinin. Cytokinin is, you only have to remember one function of cytokinin, and that is, what is that? So what is the one very most important function of cytokinin is, It is cyto is actually what cytoplasm, right? Kinin is division. Cytokinesis. You have might learn in cell division. So it is actually a cell division, helps in cell elongation or cell division. It helps in cell division. This is very important. Okay, and it is an antagonist to auxin. If this is a rooting hormone, if auxin is rooting hormone, if auxin is rooting hormone, then it is shooting hormone, which you can say it is antagonist to auxin. It is a shooting hormone. Again, there is a plant. There is a two apical meristem. One, the lower the ground, it helps to the formation of root, and the one upper to the ground helps in the formation of shoot. So auxin promotes root growth, and cytokinin promotes shoot growth. Okay, so this is a very important point of cytokinin, and it delays senescence. It delays senescence. Do you know what is senescence? Delays senescence. सेनेसेंस माने बुढ़ापा, मतलब प्लांट को बूढ़ा होने से रोकता है. तो प्लांट के केस में जो ओल्ड एज होता है ना, जो ओल्ड एज प्लांट उन्हें होने नहीं देता, ओल्ड होने नहीं देता. ठीक है, तो सेनेसेंस मतलब जब प्लांट ओल्ड होता है. हमारे केस में ओल्ड यूज़ करते हैं, पर प्लांट के केस में सेनेसेंस यूज़ करते हैं. ठीक है, तो साइटोकाइनिन क्या करता है? सेल डिवीजन कराता है ना. तो सेल डिवीजन कराता है तो मतलब न्यू सेल फॉर्मेशन होते रहते हैं, तो इसलिए इनडायरेक्टली और डायरेक्टली ये सेनेसेंस को डिले कर रहा है. ठीक है, बस यही थे. और नेक्स्ट वन इज जिबरलिन. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट जिबरलिन नाउ. फंक्शन. The very important function of gibberellin is bolting. Bolting. Do you know bolting? By new terminologies आ रहे, तो ख्याल रखना. ठीक है. So bolting is actually, let me show you what bolting is. Just let me show you what bolting is. Okay. So oh, here it is. This is what a bolting is. Look at this. This is a cabbage plant, right? Have you seen this cabbage plant, right? So this is a cabbage plant. But in bolting, what happens is the cabbage plant stem elongate. You know, what is cabbage? Cabbage is actually a modification of bud, right? So cabbage is a modification of bud. So cabbage is a modified bud. So when we treat the plant with gibberellin, it's internodes. You know, internodes. Internodes are, if this is stem, have you seen in sugarcane there is like nodes over here, like these kind of structures in sugarcane, right? So these two, they are hard surfaces. These hard thing are nodes. Whereas in between two nodes there is an internode. This is internode, okay, which is long, you know. So what does this gibberellin do is, this gibberellin elongates the elongates the, this gibberellin elongates the internodes, elongates the internode, which means this is a compressed form. Here it is a compressed form of internode. In cabbage, the bud, these internode are just compressed, right, to form bud. The internodes are just compressed to form buds in the cabbage plant. This gibberellin just elongates the nodes, and see here, and it becomes like this, somewhat like this. See, there are buds, right? Sorry, there are internodes and there are compressed internode. When treated with gibberellin, the internodes elongates to form this kind of plant. So this is actually cabbage. This is also cabbage treated with gibberellin. Cabbage treated with gibberellin. So this was the function of gibberellin, very important function. Okay, so let's talk about next function. Let's talk about next function, another function. What is another function is? Another function is it helps in seed germination, very important. Seed germination. I think I don't need to describe this. सीड जर्मिनेशन में क्या करता है, हेल्प करता है, ठीक है. सीड जर्मिनेशन इज अ ग्रोथ ऑफ सीड विच is rupture of seed and formation of new plant, and then it inhibits seed dormancy. This is very important. Inhibits seed dormancy. Do you know what dormancy is? डोरमेंसी मतलब सीड कोट फूटता ही नहीं. जब जर्मिनेशन के टाइम पे जब सीड कोट फूटता ही नहीं तो नया प्लांट कैसे जर्मिनेट होगा. इसीलिए डोरमेंसी मतलब, डोरमेंसी का एक्चुअल मीनिंग होता है जो सीड कोट होता है ना वो इतना हार्ड होता है, इतना हार्ड होता है, अथवा हार्ड ही नहीं, किसी भी कारण पे अंडर सुइटेबल कंडीशन अगर वो सीड जर्मिनेट नहीं किया ना तो उसको डोरमेंसी कहते हैं, ठीक है. सो व्हाट डिड आई से, it is a inability of a seed to growth under suitable, to germinate under suitable environment, okay, suitable condition. So what is seed dormancy? It is a inability. What is dormancy? It is a inability of a seed to germinate under suitable environment. सो क्या करता है, ऐसा होने नहीं देता, ठीक है, ऐसा होने नहीं देता. जिबरेलिन क्या करता है, इनहिबिट्स करता है किसको, सीड डोरमेंसी को. मतलब ये क्या करता है, इनडायरेक्टली सीड जर्मिनेशन करा रहा है, ठीक है. सो यही है डोरमेंसी का, ये हो गया डोरमेंसी. नाउ नेक्स्ट वन, ये भी क्या करता है, सेनेसेंस को डिले करता है, ठीक है. ये भी सेम टू सेम, ये जैसा करता है ऐसा भी ये भी करता है, ठीक है. सेनेसेंस को डिले करता है. ओके, ये हो गया, 4 फंक्शंस हो गए. बस ये था ग्रोथ प्रोमोटर्स के फंक्शंस. ये हो गया ग्रोथ प्रोमोटर्स के फंक्शन. नाउ शिट, अटक गया यार स्क्रीन, हट यार, स्क्रीन ही अटक गया. हाँ होगा अभी, चल. ये हो गया ग्रोथ प्रोमोटर्स के फंक्शन. और ग्रोथ इनहिबिटर्स के फंक्शन बस ज़्यादा नहीं, ये ज़्यादा इनहिबिट्स करता है, सारे के सारे इनहिबिट्स जो इन लोग करते हैं ना, इनको सारे के सारे इनिबिट्स करता है, ठीक है। इनिबिट मतलब जहाँ भी तुझे इनिबिट देखे तो एब्सिसिक एसिड मार सकता है, ठीक है। सो इसका फंक्शन क्या है, it is a inhibitory hormone, so it inhibits everything, okay, so it inhibits everything. So it's also known as dormin or stress hormone, okay. So it is also known as dormin or stress hormone. That means it inhibitory hormone, it inhibits, okay. So इसका फंक्शन है इसमें। इथाइलिन एक गैसेस हार्मोन है, क्या है, गैसेस हार्मोन है। दिस इज द ओनली गैसेस हार्मोन। ये बस एक ही फंक्शन है इसका, राइपनिंग ऑफ फ्रूट, जो फ्रूट होता है ना उनको पकाता है, बस इतना ही याद करना, तेरा हो जाएगा। स्क्रीनशॉट ले ले, रुक, हाँ अब ले ले स्क्रीनशॉट। इससे बाहर क्वेश्चन नहीं जाएगा, ओके। सो जितने भी क्वेश्चन है इसी के अंदर से